This is a paper pattern for coarse cloth. This fabric is made of coarse floral cloth, so it tends to fray easily. If it's difficult to handle, stick on this kind of wufeng interfacing. It's a very thin 30-gram material, and this is the paper pattern. You can just cut it according to this paper pattern. Then, when you get the paper pattern, first measure the scale. There is a square frame. This marking follows the paper pattern. You just need to draw it on the fabric. After marking, it's easier to assemble. Then the sleeve consists of two pieces. One is the large sleeve. There is also a small sleeve. When making it, remember that this is the front. This point on the large sleeve is the front, and this is the back sleeve. This is the sleeve end point. Mark the sleeve end point on the canvas according to the pattern. Because it aligns with a shoulder seam. This makes it easier to attach the sleeve. This is the cutting of the outer fabric. There is also one for the lining fabric. The lining pattern and the outer fabric pattern are completely different. So do not use the outer fabric pattern to cut the lining. Okay? This is the large sleeve and the lining sleeves and the outer fabric sleeves are also different. Then first make this small part. Make this pocket flap. Draw it on the lining. The bottom is the front side. Draw on the reverse side. Then sew half a circle with the sewing machine. Leave this horizontal line on top. This part is folded, so don't sew it. Then leave a 0.25 seam allowance. That's half of 0.5. Okay? Leave this a bit longer, then fold it over and mark it. Draw the pocket flap more precisely than this before cutting. The corner of this pocket flap needs to be pulled out. After turning this over, press it with an iron. Then poke along this edge to mark the stitching line. After the top stitching is done, then place the pocket flap paper pattern on it and trim it. According to the size on the paper pattern, cut off the excess on top. This pocket flap is finished. Press the top stitching well, and you can sew a line here at the pocket opening. Sew it onto the clothes like this. It's easier to handle when folding it back. Then start making the garment pieces. Finish all the small ones. These are its two sleeves. Large sleeves and small sleeves. Sew this seam in the middle together. Then make the thick piece of the garment. Sew it together like this. Then use this seam tape. Then a miter cut was made. When sewing, these two miter cuts lie flat, aligned like this. Then sewing them together fits perfectly. These can be joined together. The inner line can be done like this. The stitching fits perfectly. This cut corner is aligned according to the paper pattern material. Align it like this. Then sew a 0.5 centimeter seam downwards, and that's it. This is how the back piece is assembled. Then sew and press open. Then press a top stitch on each side. Next is the front piece. This is the center front, which does not need to be sewn. You only need to sew the front side. Then when sewing this, you need to find an alignment point. When sewing this point to here, make sure to align them. Then ensure the bust is at its highest point here. This is the front piece I have sewn together. Then I need to draft the pocket placement. The pocket placement means taking the front piece, there's a hole here, cutting it open, then fold it in half, mark this, then this pocket flap should follow this. Align the corners and it's done. There is a 0.5 centimeters seam here. Just stitch it on, then sew it up following this mark. That's all you need to do. Align with this line, then align this side with this line. This pocket flap, after sewing, fold it over. Then you can also top stitch it. This way it won't lift up. You can make this seam a bit narrower. Then when top stitching, just cover this seam. Next step. Back piece pointed seam. Join the front piece's pointed seams together. After sewing the pointed seam, attach the sleeve. The two pieces that were just finished. You have to clearly distinguish front and back here. The one with the seam is the back. This is the back. Then this side is the front. Don't put it upside down. Then there is a sharp point here. Draw it onto the front. It's easier to find when both sides are made. It is related to the dart point. Then this is the front armhole. After it comes the back armhole. This is the front. This end point is the front. Oh, right. Before working on the sleeve, you need to first make a dart. Then press 2 top stitch lines over like this. After making the dart, then join it with this piece. For this part, I only pressed 1 dart line. The fold allowance is placed on the embroidered shirt. There is no fold allowance at the bottom of the page. They are all distributed on both sides of the apex, here and here. Be a little careful from this point to the seam here. It's not very easy to pull it over. After pulling, it becomes like this, like a 3-dimensional shaped sleeve. Then there is a curve that comes over. No folding allowance under the page. All are here. The upper part of the embroidered shirt. When stitching the back and the whole piece together, align the end point with the tip. You can fix it in place first, then sew from the middle outwards to both sides. Align the embroidery end point with the pointed seam here. After securing this part here, then adjust this part again. See if this can align properly. If it's too small, just pull this part a bit more, then let it just connect together perfectly. Both sides are like this. This is how you operate on both sides. This sleeve is done. Then the approach on the other side is the same as this. Then stitch it together with the embroidered dragon. After finishing this front part, attach the lining. The inner fabric is applied in exactly the same way as the front part. The only difference is the front piece. The front part of the face consists of 2 pieces. One is the knife back. The other is the center front. There is only 1 piece of lining fabric. Just tuck in this waistband drawstring. After sewing this seam of the drawstring, just trim off the excess. Leave a 0.5 centimeter seam allowance, like this. Then when making it, separate this part. The seam there will become a bit thinner. If they all pile up together, it will be thick, like this. Then sew it with the shoulder seam. This is the thick piece made earlier. After assembling, this is the front piece. Sew the two front pieces together at the shoulder seam. Then this garment is fully stretched. First, sew the cuffs. Align the two pieces together. Then this is the sleeve. Sew the sleeve cuff. After sewing that, sew the side seam, that is, the side seam of the lining and the side seam of the outer fabric. From here, then this seam unfolds like this. This one too. All the way to here to the side seam of the face. Then all the seams you encounter should be opened up like this. When this seam reaches the cuff, it can be pressed toward the front. You can also open it up like this. I will press it toward. Just turn this orientation towards the face. It's a bit tricky to handle. The seam of this joint here must be aligned precisely. Then go to the bottom of the page. Here. It's just under the arm. This part needs to be unfolded. Both sides need it. Otherwise, it will be very thick. The seam under the flap needs to be aligned better. After unfolding like this, when you flip it to the front side, you can separate this seam, then put this arm down. The page will be much flatter. This end of the seam is done. The other side starts from here to the side seam over here. Then the other side is done the same way. After sewing the side seams and embroidery seams, sew the neckline. Align like this. You can first sew the neckline. Then sew the front placket here. This is the neckline. This is the front placket. Then align the center. Sew from the middle toward both sides. Here, first make a few stitches to secure it. After sewing the neckline here, it's the front bodice. The lining and outer fabric of the front bodice are of different lengths because there is a fold on the front side. So sew up 2. There is a 2-centimeter gap from the bottom edge. Do not sew into the front here. Handle it separately. Both sides are like this. Don't sew all the way through. Otherwise, you'll have to undo it on the front side. Then, when you've sewn up to this point, turn it over. To have a neat seam, you need to handle it properly. When it flips to the front, it needs to be unfolded like this. You can iron it a bit, otherwise, when it reaches the front, it won't flip properly. Then the seam of this sleeve, also open up the underarm seam like this, then iron it. Just iron here, and that's enough. The same goes for this side. You need to unfold this, the seam underneath, the seam under the armpit. Fully unfold it. When flipping it to the front, it will be difficult to fix if you keep messing with it. Then the neckline here needs to be notched. Otherwise, when it reaches the front side, the collar will flip over and it will not lie flat. Also, the underarm of the sleeve, if flip to the front underarm, if the effect is not good, you can also make a cut here if you're worried about the seam opening. Just make a few small cuts like this. There is a curve at the armpit area. If you look from the front, if the effect is acceptable, the kind with thin fabric, it's okay not to do it. Make it a bit shallower. Don't make it too deep. And then after it's done, then you can flip it over. Flip it from the front. Turn the lining over. For this bottom seam, the main thing is to separate it here. Because when it reaches the front side, that sleeve originally has a narrow cuff. If it's too thick, if that seam is too thick, it won't look very good. Lay it flat like this. If it's too thick, it's just tough. There is something very hard there. And then this cuff has a hem. Fold the front edge over. The lining isn't exactly here. At this position, it's like this, slightly inward. This one too. The corner of this door curtain, make sure it is straight when you fold it over. You can round it off a bit. Then fold it back over. This right angle. Sleeve cuff hem. It's like this. Then to prevent the lining from being too short, make it just right like this. The outer fabric and lining are the same length. This is its the amount the tongue extends past. The next step is to handle the hem's fold. This is according to sew on that paper pattern, fold it back, then iron it. Fix it in place, then finish the fold edge. Iron it back, this seam allowance. Fold the lining edge, iron it at 0.5 centimeters. Just follow the pattern on the finger. Go and do that. That will be fine. Fold back here. Fold again at 0.5. This one too. Then here, use a sewing machine. Also works, but this sewing needs to align perfectly. Align the top, then turn it over. You can sew it by hand. You can also use a sewing machine. I sewed it by hand. If it is a thinner fabric, you can, before turning it over, sew the hem closed, then turn it inside out. Leave an opening here. But what about this wool? If this kind of opening is too small, after flipping it over, then wrinkled. So spread out the hem like this, then sew it by hand. The result will be better. When sewing here, Align this side by 0.5. Then the width below are all the same, so it won't be sewn crooked. Then you don't have to sew it completely through. You can just pick one stitch like this. It should be placed low here. That's fine. You can use either a hand needle or a sewing machine. As long as this part is done, it just needs to fit snugly and properly. Then here at the front center press seam, and also the collar band. Also press a top stitch here at the sleeve. After you have adjusted it, use a hand needle to sew a few stitches to secure it. It won't shift anymore. If you don't do it, you can also iron it. This cuff's turnover seam. Iron this part more precisely. Just iron it like this a few times. It won't move anymore. The ironed areas will be clearly visible. This way, this piece of clothing, just finish sewing the button below. When it comes to attaching the button, just attach it according to this button position, because these two pieces of clothing are relatively thick. If you wear just one piece, it's hard to wear. So putting two pieces together, then put them on the doll. And that's enough. Somewhat good. This is the paper pattern for the shirt. It is a blouse for a dress. Then lining was added inside. If the lining is not added, the pleats will show on the outside and look unattractive. The doctor added the lining but did not add the sleeves. Adding sleeves would make it look very bulky. It is this kind of cuff. There are two ways to make the cuff. Look at the paper pattern. This is the front piece. Then the hem. This is its lining fabric. The lining fabric and outer fabric are two different patterns. Then this is the placket. This is the upper part of the shirt. The collar is cut into two pieces. Add a gathered facing between the two collar pieces. This is its front piece. Join the tuck with the hem after folding. Mark the tuck join according to the pattern. This is its pattern. This is the pocket placement. Make marks according to the notches on the pattern. Cut the drawing material sheet at the designated position. Just tell them to come over. Ba-chang. Can't argue against. But the next cast work will definitely be better. Transport the marker back to friendly. Okay, right? Procedure. This is the front hem. The front looks like this. The back is fused with a 5-weave because this fabric, it is a twill weave, easily deformed. Then the interlining is always glued first before cutting. For this type, the interlining is glued on top. Then the pattern pieces are drawn on and cut out. If cut first and then glued, it's easy to deform. It also shrinks easily. It shrinks back as soon as you iron it. This is the sleeve pattern piece. This marks the front. The sleeve end is used to align the dart seam. This is the back piece overlapped. Because the paper interfacing is glued on, it won't move no matter how you pull it. The cuffs are cut into 4 pieces. Add embroidered flying edges between the 2 sides. This is its lining fabric. The lining and the outer fabric are different patterns according to the central material. After drawing, use double layer material. Double layer material only needs to be cut once. Start with the simple parts. This is the lining. 1 piece of lining fabric. First, make the front piece. This is the left and right of the front piece. Place them facing each other like this. So, place them facing each other like this. The well-joined part is the lining of the front piece. Then after finishing, open the seam allowance and top stitch. Below is the thick piece. After joining both sides, join the thick middle part. Join the front and back pieces at the pointed seam. Set it aside first and work on the front side. The front of this garment. Start with the collar first. Add the neatly gathered flying edge between the 2 collar pieces. First, trim the flash edges. This is its template. Fold according to the template. Fold in half, then press along the drawn line. Even better, judgment. Make the hand line, bend. It doesn't matter. Again, this, try fish anyway, right? After pressing the seam, pull it tight. After gathering, First, join it with one piece of the collar. Mark the end point according to the instructions. Find this point. First, fix one stitch between it and the collar stand. Then sew from the middle towards both sides. Then adjust the length towards both sides. Just adjust evenly. Leave a 0.5 seam allowance from the collar edge. Then sew the other piece as well. Add the seam allowances together. Once this is done, it looks like this. Then turn it over. Leave a 0.5 seam allowance unstitched. With the collar done like this, set it aside for now. Then adjust its hem. Fold it up like this. Let me explain how this is drawn. It's this side. Press the mark here to punch 2 holes. Then flip it over, then flip it over, then flip it over. Draw this line like this on top, then click 2 markers here. Face up, then use a ruler to connect them all. There is a seam allowance here. Then fold, then fold. Then fold, and fold. Press it with an iron once. Then flip it to the reverse side. Sew up to here. Sew up to here and make a basting stitch. Then rip out a thread here and also here. Turn it into this shape. Then flip it to the front side. Then iron it once more. These two are the back pieces. Then these are the front pieces. The hemming method for the front and back pieces is the same. This is folded from the front side back onto the front. Not very clear. Redraw on the front side. Bit cool. Fold the tip again. Flip the front piece over. Sew the paper here. After sewing here, fold it in half. Then press the seam here and here as well. Press up to here. The complete piece looks like this. Two front pieces and two back pieces. This is the front piece, then this is the back piece. This is the front piece, then this is the back center. After sewing here, unfold it, then iron it briefly. Once done, set it aside for now. Next, make its back neck piece. Next, make its back neck piece. This is its back piece. Draw the waist darts on the fabric according to the pattern, like this. Then flip it over and draw on this side. Then sew the center back. Sew this. Then sew the center back. Sew this. Assemble it like this. Assemble it like this. Align here. Align here. The seam in the middle must be aligned. Do a front stretch. Do a full. Do a front stretch. Do a full. Do a front stretch above. Do a front stretch above. Do a front stretch above. Extend the upper part. Extend the upper part. After folding the previous extension, join it with the hem. Sew the fold line. Center back seam at question mark. Thank you for your cooperation. Let me take a look. Be careful. Oversight. Stretch Cranedale. There is oil. Stretch downward. Leon, this end is knotted and the folding amount is concentrated here. When assembling, the folded quantity is all here, and then there is a little bit here. Please like, subscribe, share, and support the Mingjing and Diandian programs with donations. The folded quantity is concentrated here. This side is almost flat, and this side is also flat without any folds. Let me repeat. After folding neatly here, this point above aligns so that the spacing is exactly equal to the one below. This side is also aligned here afterward. Find this point. Only a very small distance. After adjusting, this section is knotted. It's like it can also be done here. Soldier according to electric beam. Pavilion. Shoulder seams merged together. Yo-Yo exclusive drama theater. Yo-Yo television series exclusive. The next step is to make the collar. The collar will be joined together like this. The inner collar is joined with the garment's inner part, and the collar facing is attached to the garment's outer part, like this. Align the center back. Please kindly like, subscribe, share, and tip to support the Mingjing and Yandian program. Mingjing and Yandian program. Sew this part well here. Then connect this side to the collar. This side is the front part, right? And then this side is the collar part we just made. In this way, the neckline still needs to have a facing. This way it's much easier to do. These points need to be aligned properly. This is what it looks like when joined together. The reverse side looks like this. Then if it's too thick here, you can trim a little bit. The trimming is done right in the middle here. Then, this way, when they are placed down, they won't be too crowded. Here it won't be too tight, just right. Like entering a new paragraph. Yo-Yo exclusive drama theater. Yo-Yo television series make a false facing. Only cut open the pocket. Only remove the seam allowances of the neckline and shoulders. Mark the pocket position. Make a facing. Mark the drawing number according to the pattern. Fold in half and press. Fold in half and press. Fold in half and press. Trim the excess padding according to the pattern. Fold along the double curl. Fold along the double curl. Cut along the drawn line. Do not cut past the drawn line at the triangle. After cutting, flip the lip over. Cut the seam by hand with a needle. Next, fold the door stay in half according to the pattern. Pin the door stay between the outer fabric and the lining. Fold up 0.5 centimeters seam allowance at both ends of the door stay, then fold it in half. First, stitch it to the outer fabric. The remaining part is the folded edge. Make a mark on the left and right pieces symmetrically. Sew the welt on the other side, starting from the bottom. Make a mark at the waist cut of the welt. This way, the heights on both sides are the same. Clamp the door reinforcement between the inner layer the door and from the front. Keep a distance of 0.5 centimeters from the door reinforcement without folding back beyond the inner layer. Make symmetrical marks on both sides. Clamp the door reinforcement between the inner layer the door and from the front. Trim and fold down to the front side. Clamp the placket inside. Explanation of two methods for the sleeve. The first method, open the sleeve vent and cut it according to the pattern. Cut a sleeve vent binding strip according to the pattern. Fold it in half, then fold it in half again. If the sewing machine is difficult to operate, you can use a hand needle to stitch the seam. The second method of opening the sleeve vent is to cut it according to the finger pattern. Cut a sleeve vent binding according to the finger pattern. Fold in half, then fold in half again. The third method of opening the sleeve vent is to cut it according to the finger pattern. Cut a sleeve slit facing piece according to the pattern. Fold in half twice. Cut open the fourth type of sleeve slit according to the pattern. Cut a sleeve slit facing piece according to the pattern. Fold in half twice. The fifth type of sleeve vent is cut open following the finger pattern. Cut a sleeve vent binding strip following the finger pattern. Fold in half, then fold in half again. The sixth type of sleeve vent is cut open following the finger pattern. Cut a sleeve vent binding strip following the finger pattern. Fold in half, then fold in half again. Cut open the seventh type of sleeve vent according to the pattern. Cut a sleeve vent binding strip according to the pattern. Fold in half, then fold in half again. Cut a sleeve vent binding strip according to the pattern. Fold in half, then fold in half again. Cut open the eighth type of sleeve vent according to the pattern. Cut a sleeve vent binding according to the pattern. Fold in half, then fold in half again. Cut open the third type of sleeve vent according to the pattern. Another sleeve method. First, make the sleeve flying edge. Cut symmetrically left and right. Mark lines according to the pattern. The two pieces are opposite. Don't mix them up. Fold according to the direction of the arrow. Mark lines according to the pattern. Fold up the sleeve hem by 0.5 centimeters. Continue practicing. Use hand stitches to secure the fold, then iron it. Continue practicing. First, sew one sleeve cuff, then sew the other sleeve cuff, pinching the flying edge in the middle. Sew another cuff, one other. Sew another cuff, one other. Trim the seam allowance. Press the seam allowance by hand. Trim the seam allowance. Trim the seam. Trim the seam. Trim the seam. Trim the seam. Fold back the seam allowance by 0.5 centimeters. Fold the seam allowance back by 0.5 centimeters. Then fold again to cover the raw. Then fold again to cover the raw. Then fold again to cover the raw edge and top stitch. Press the seam to finish. Secure a stitch at the midpoint of the embroidery and the pointed seam. Then pull it so that it matches the length of the front. Then pull it so that it matches the length of the front. Then pull it so that it matches the length of the front. Pull it so that it matches the length of the front and back embroidery hoops. Then fold it and stitch fold and 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 then fold it and embroider the pointed seam. Then attach the other sleeve. Then fold it and embroider the then fold it and embroider the then fold it fold it fold, 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 then fold it and embroider the pointed seam. Then first handle the sleeve lining, which also has two methods. The first method for the sleeve lining is without trimming the raw edges. Sew the cotton fabric armhole and lining armhole together, aligning the notches. Be sure to leave a 0.5 centimeter seam allowance unsewn. Be sure to leave a 0.5 centimeter seam allowance unsewn. Be careful not to sew at the 0.5 at the 0. Be careful not to sew at the 0.5 at the 0. Sew the sleeves first. Sew the sleeves first. Sew up to below the leaf and stop. Sew up to just below the hem. Turn the sleeve to the right side. Then sew the inner side seam. Also sew up to the point just below the hem. Then sew the inner side seam. U. Then sew the front side seam up to the underarm point. Another embroidery technique is the rolled edge using an embroidery hoop. Sew the inner side seam. Sew. Sew the front sleeve seam and side seam. Sew. Leave a 0.5 centimeter seam allowance. Do not sew over the basting thread. Sew. Sew the side seams and sleeve seams. Sew. 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 So. The side seam allowances can be pressed open with an iron. So. After gathering the cuff, attach the sleeve head's raw edge. So to get a tie a secure knot at the seam joint to fix it. So to get a so to get a fold the edges 0.5 centimeters on both ends. So 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 fold back the 0.5 centimeter seam allowance. Sew both ends carefully, making sure not to include the selvage. so, so, so. suture, 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 sew, 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 sew. Press the fabric edge roll with top stitching. Mark button positions, one at the neckline, one at the waist tie, then one between the neckline and waist, and the rest evenly spaced below. Mark the button position. Mark the button position. The button position. One at the neckline. Button position. Button position. Mark button position. Mark the button position. The buttons. Button position. One at the neckline. Button position. Button position. Mark button position. Mark the button position. The buttons. Button position. One at the neckline. Button position. Button position. Mark button position. Mark the button position. The buttons. Button position. One at the neckline. Button position. Button position. Mark button position. Mark the button position. The buttons. Button position. One at the neckline. Button position. Button position. Mark the button position. Mark the button positions. One at the neckline. The button positions. One at one. Mark the button position. Mark the button positions. One at the neckline. The button positions. One at one. Mark the button position. Mark the button positions. One at the neckline. The button positions. One at one. Mark the button positions. One at the neckline. One at the waist knot with equal spacing below. Mark the button positions. One at the neckline. One at the waist knot with equal spacing below. Mark the button position. The button position. The button position. The button positions. One at the neckline. Mark the button position. The button position. The button position. The button positions. One at the neckline. Mark the button position. The button position. The button position. The button positions. One at the neckline. Mark the button position. The button position. The button position. The button positions. One at the neckline. Mark the button position. The button position. The button position. The button positions. One at the neckline. Mark the button position. Markins. One at the neckline. One. Mark the button waist tie with a Mark the button position. Markins. One at the neckline. One. Mark the button waist tie with a Mark the button position. Markins. One at the neckline. One. Mark the button waist tie with a